Thank you guys for getting locked in.
Ooh,
Dave,
nice.
Fresh haircut.
Not really.
No, you just always look fresh.
I do.
That was my
So fresh
compliment.
and so clean.
And we have the
Okay.
T-shirts. Look, I'm wearing it.
Yes, guys. Max Van Auken and a locked-in tee.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. But let's save that for we have a special guest.
We do.
Glenn
Luty.
There we go. We got both names. That's awesome.
Executioner.
That's right.
From the Geiger Counter Podcast.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's a movie podcast I do weekly.
Love it.
Yeah.
Where can they find it?
They can find our podcast actually on geigercast.com. So it's GEIGERCAST.com, and you can actually find all of our podcasts and news and all sorts of fun stuff.
And I found it. I saw it like a year ago, and every now and then I would listen to it. But then it was like 3 or 4. I knew you guys took a break, and we talked about it. And then you guys came back with the Avengers Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it. I drive literally for a living to work. I'm in a different state every other day, and I'm like, this was the best hour and 8 minutes of podcast history, except for RSN for Locked In Sports Podcast.
Yeah, no,
of course.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. I was like, I love this. And I was like, I like Glenn. I like Lindsay, but it's blowing me away. Like, I love it. I took pictures of it. I'm sending it to friends. I put it on Facebook, everywhere. And then was better than that was your Marvel movie mania countdown.
Yeah, the top
18.
Marvel
Blew me away.
movies of all time. Well, actually, it was just a countdown of what we thought that were the best, Lindsay and I.
Yeah. I put my list. It was definitely different, but you can't argue. The 11th best Avenger movie could be number 1 and vice versa. They're all so damn good. It's amazing.
So someone who wants to listen to your podcast, they, of course, pretty much everyone loves movies.
They do.
So what are they getting when they listen to your podcast? Are you rating each show? Is it just based on rating movies? Tell us about it.
Well, what we do is we usually see a new movie. Sometimes we do like old movies. We did Jurassic Park. We did the Goonies recently. And what we do is we go through the movie and we kind of pick it apart and say what we love and some behind the scenes kind of stories and just try to give information and our take on the movies.
Yeah, to me it's informative and funny, and it's cool to hear different people's takes on it and what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it. I loved it. I'm hooked on it. Definitely download, subscribe, listen to the podcast. It's awesome. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Now, before we get started and talk about what we're getting into today, like or dislike the Avengers Infinity Wars?
Oh, is that? Do you
Because
have
this
to
is where
ask the question?
that's a thing.
This is where Dave and I disagree the most. I absolutely
Okay,
loved
we
it
can
because I
argue.
knew
We
the
can argue.
comics. You loved it.
I loved it. It was different than the comics. But here's the argument. Everybody goes out of it like it's Empire Strikes Back. They're like, oh, it's so depressing at the end. What do we do? Where's the hope? Well, come on. I don't want to spoil anything, but we know there's a Spider-Man 2.
Exactly.
We know there's a Black Panther 2. All right? It's a good movie.
Okay, 2 things, 2 rebuttals, if I could. 1, you have an amazing, beautiful wife, Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
How she feels about it at the end, that's how I feel. I won't take Colin, who freaking loves Captain America, met Chris Evans, by the way, loves every freaking Spider-Man. I will not let him go see this movie. It was dreadful at the end. I will not do it. I'm that father. I do not want him to see Spider-Man get killed. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers, holy crap.
We're like a month away.
Listen.
Then my second rebuttal is, my analogy is, when you get kicked in the nuts, a year from now, your nuts hopefully do not hurt anymore. But in the moment, it effing hurts.
Yeah.
So in that moment of watching all of our favorite superheroes die, it was awful. I hated it.
All right, one quick thing I'll add to this.
JT.
Sojo did not die, so I am perfectly happy.
What's her name? Black Panther's bodyguard, Okoye.
You never mentioned about The Walking Dead, by the way.
Favorite.
She's amazing.
Yeah, from The Walking Dead. Yeah. She's my favorite Marvel female, and DC for that matter. Well, I hate DC.
Yeah,
Speaking about DC, real quick.
sucks.
So, Dave,
That's what Wonder
DC
Woman should have been.
you talked about
Movies, their cartoons are effing amazing.
In their comic books, Batman's phenomenal.
You talked
That's my
about
favorite.
not taking Colin to the movies because he passing away of superheroes. If you haven't seen it by now, folks, I'm sorry. That's shame on you. We're going to spoil it.
Yep.
So, listen, would you take him to go see Superman?
Which one?
I wouldn't.
Superman
Zack
and
Snyder.
Justice and just Justice League? Would you take him to see that?
For the one, I don't spoil. I actually haven't seen Justice League yet, so I hope you
I'm
didn't
just saying,
spoil.
would you take him to see
I
it?
haven't taken myself to see.
I know I haven't even saw, so I'm not going to take a 6-year-old. No, I want to take him to every superhero
Okay, well,
movie.
my point being is, and you saw this coming, he's even in some of the trailers with Superman. You know he comes back to life. That's not a spoiler if you just know that. So my point being is there's going to be conflicts that happen, and that's why they triumph. The triumphant comeback is so triumphant.
I get what you're
Because
saying.
They're coming down, and if you know,
I see where he's going
and
with
if you know the comebacks, and you know the story, if you know the roots,
A sports movie, by the way.
yeah, and if you know and if you
Nice
know
segue.
the true origin of the comics, you know there's different types of stones, different type like the Infinity Stones, and what their purpose is. You
Gall
know they're
stones,
coming back. It's not like you see them getting their throat sliced.
No.
You're just seeing the power of Thanos.
I totally get it. I understand what you're saying is I just don't like the concept of them dying on screen in front of you, especially how Spider-Man did die right in front of Tony Stark's arms. I know they're not real characters. I know they didn't die in real life, and I know they all come back. I know about contracts and all the movies and Avengers 2 Infinity Wars. I see the trailers for it already. I understand, but
There's no trailers for it yet.
I didn't think that the Thor got his butt kicked for 2 hours and 42 minutes. He started the movie getting his butt kicked. I just didn't like, to me, the concept of the movies to show how awesome, how evil, how powerful Thanos is. So I get it.
He came back great, though.
But he still got his butt kicked.
Yeah. Not at the end. He came back with the axe and what he did to Thanos. He hurt Thanos and how powerful he was with that axe. And he literally, the axe beat the crap out of so many different aliens before he even touched the ground.
I'm just surprised he didn't say, you better axe somebody. Never mind.
Damn it. Good one. All right.
Anyway,
There
so
we go.
Today, I had to get the Avengers out of the way.
Yep.
We have this huge thing we put on the Locked In Facebook page, by the way. Like the page to join the community. That's where we debate all this stuff. Top 10 sports movies of all time.
Ever.
And Dave, you kind of just touched on it. There's really no right or wrong. It's opinion.
No,
it's not like, oh, this movie's definitely better than that movie. But the list we were talking about earlier, Glenn, it's the hardest list to come up with because there's so many movies.
The two hardest things I've ever done. Name my kids and make this sports list. Those are the two hardest things. It was tough.
And let me just say, when we did the Marvel list, this was about 4 times harder than that because when we did the Marvel list, you only have
Really?
19 films. With this, we had like 60 movies to weed down.
Yeah, you have a border, and then you can kind of work its way in. This is just ever-ended. There's 80 movies that you can go back and forth.
There's two different types of scales that I think people confuse. There's one, like how do you actually rate the movie 1 to 10 and what you like the best. This list is on what we like the best.
So
Absolutely.
if you feel like we've left something out or whatever, that's fine. That's your opinion. You like that movie better for whatever reason. It's our opinion.
Leave a comment.
Can I just say, I always picked on sportscasters for this move right here. You know what? You actually have to do it. I never know that
Keep
before.
your head on a swivel.
You
Yeah.
gotta be able to rotate.
All right.
It's like- all right.
So we're starting at 10. We're going to work our way down to the number 1, best sports movies ever. We have honorable mentions. We'll get to that at the end. Anyone on Facebook Live, if you want to put your favorite movies or make fun of ours or love ours, let us know. We got Sean, the producer, behind the scenes making all the moves. JT's looking handsome as always. All right, Glenn, you are our lovely guest.
I'm teeing off.
Let's go.
Whoa.
A lot of pressure.
That is
Spoiler
not a-
alert.
a lot of-
Spoiler alert.
That's actually not a spoiler alert.
Okay, all right.
I know you guys at Locked In, you guys love your MMA, right?
Yes.
Of
This
course.
is kind of an MMA sort of movie, and it's JCVD Bloodsport is my number 10.
Wow. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
JCVD.
Good one.
I like it.
No, Bloodsport's a phenomenal movie. It's really funny if you watch it, but
It's an hour and 22 minutes of fun.
Did you know that everybody in that movie except for the red-haired dude was an actual fighter? So
No, I did not.
Yeah, so he's the only one who couldn't fight in the movie.
Wait, Glenn.
Everybody else was.
Did you know that everyone in the movie, other than the redhead guy and Jean-Claude Van Damme, were real fighters? I didn't know that.
Why, Jean-Claude Van Damme is a real fighter.
Listen, guys, that's why you need to listen to the Geiger Counter Podcast with our guy right here, Glenn. All right, Dave.
Okay. You want me to go number 10?
Number
sir.
10, let's do it.
My list. Okay. People, if you want to get upset with me, get upset with me. Here we go. Number 10, Will Ferrell. All of them. My number 10 spot is Talladega Nights, Semi-Pro, Blades of Glory, and Kicking and Screaming.
Oh, my gosh. Somebody just cheated big time.
I'm going there with it. I couldn't cut it down.
Cheated big
I
time.
liked
Cheated.
Boo. Pick one. Pick one right now.
All right, pick one.
Pick one.
Talladega Nights.
Oh.
If you ain't first, you're last.
You know what's so funny is that you live in Daytona, right? Obviously.
Close.
Well, you live around this area.
yeah,
Okay,
I know.
you grew up here. So, believe it or not, Talladega Nights is a documentary because that's how those guys really are. I was watching the last Daytona 500, and the winner and his wife were Ricky Bobby and his. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that is a documentary.
And bake.
Now listen, guys. Unfortunately, doesn't even make my 10. I
Neither?
absolutely loved it. It's one of the funniest movies. No, it doesn't.
Okay. Wow.
Doesn't.
JT's upset about that. So, Max, what's your number 10?
I'm a NASCAR guy, and it didn't make mine either.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I love it, but
Well,
it's
It's so funny to me. I love that movie.
Well, there's another, but to be fair to Daytona, there was another NASCAR movie. What was that?
Hey, spoiler alert. We'll
Okay,
get into
well,
it later.
okay.
no. Now this is no disrespect to Talladega Nights because I love it. It's funny, but my number 10 is a boxing movie, Cinderella Man.
Oh, of course.
That's a great
Absolutely
one.
love it.
Russell Crowe.
And not only just the quality of the
Did Ron
movie.
Howard do that one? I think Ron Howard might. I don't know if he can look it up, but
Cinderella Man.
Cinderella
And
Man.
it's
I
just
think it's a Ron Howard movie.
the storyline.
I could be wrong.
It's just
I know he
how
did
they
Beautiful
came
Mind.
back and how they just what he's doing and how much not controversy, how much he has to overcome the Great Depression, his family, and how much pressure there is for him to win. It's literally win or you can't even go home at that point. It's win or you're on the streets. And it was just absolutely inspiring.
Ron Howard.
Nice. Good
All
one.
right. I gotta
Nice.
bring
Again,
on me.
guys, what is the podcast called, Glenn?
The Geiger Counter. But no, I know what you mean. And he did Ron Howard did such a great job. It's a period piece. You know what I mean? And, aside from the boxing and the script and everything, I mean, the look of it's just phenomenal.
And the
is.
boxing scenes are unreal. They're awesome scenes.
Every punch looks like it hurts.
Yes.
One of my favorite side characters in that movie that's in a lot of movies, and he's never the number one guy. He's always the fourth actor, Paul Giamatti. I love that guy.
Phenomenal
he's
actor. I
top-notch.
love Paul Giamatti.
And it's a true story. Right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
based off a true story.
Based off of a
and
true
then the main villain is Max Bear, right? His name's Max.
He is a villain.
He's a
There you
Is
go.
that mean, Max?
We
he's
do it
a
all.
bear.
We do it all. Okay. Number
All right,
9.
number 9. Here we go.
Number 9 for me is Varsity Blues. So now this actually
I don't
reads
want your life.
exactly. James Van Der Beek's so good in that movie. Paul Walker and some other people.
The big guy.
No, but I mean,
John Voight.
John Voight. I was about to say Angelina Jolie's dad is a phenomenal head coach. And listen,
Touche.
let me just say that I grew up in New Mexico and I played a little football, and that briefly, I second string, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But that is how it is. Literally in that area, Texas, New Mexico, football is everything.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's a great one. It didn't make my list, and I wanted it to.
Except none of our teachers were strippers. Sorry, at least I don't know.
Tan.
You want number 9, Dave?
Yeah, I'll take number 9, man. All right, here we go. Number 9, we kind of sprung on a little bit. Another NASCAR movie, Mr. I Don't Like NASCAR. Number 9, Days of Thunder. 2 reasons.
I know one of them for sure.
1, Tom Cruise is in it. And I'm a Tom Cruise guy. We'll get to him
And
later
he's
on.
small enough to fit into a car.
Yes.
Yeah.
And number 2, my dad was in that movie.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There you go. Hollywood superstar.
Wait. So your dad was in a movie?
Yeah, no, he was just an extra. He was in the pit.
No, but I didn't know that.
Hey, not a lot of people do.
Van Auken.
He was like 6'4" though, too, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he was the tallest guy rolling around tires. Everyone's like, Tom Cruise is like 5'3". My dad was 6'4". He's like,
I had no idea.
put him back
So my
as an
Uncle
extra.
Gary was in a movie.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Days of Thunder.
I remember that. I remember your brother Gary.
Yeah.
Telling me that when I first met him.
Yeah.
And I've remembered that the whole time. And when I watched, it sucks because I don't specifically remember what your dad looked like, unfortunately. But when I was watching it, I was like, I wonder if I'll see him. But then I was like, oh, I don't remember what.
You keep that one in the pocket. So you take that out. Days of Thunder, number 9. And I really liked the movie. I loved it. I've seen it 20 times.
What was 9?
Number 9.
My number 9, I just grew up watching.
Okay.
Featured the Bambino, if you know what I mean.
Babe Ruth.
Sandlot.
Oh,
absolutely love
yes.
Sandlot.
Classic. Yes,
I
yes.
love Sandlot, and just like
Forever.
the black,
Forever.
You're right there, dude. Max just like,
No, you
Max Bear.
You nailed it, and then it's just then the black Converse, like it just,
Yeah.
and it was just slick, and the way he like slid on home base, it was just.
I was gonna say that was my number 10.
Oh,
Really?
so right in that range.
I loved it. It was awesome.
We
You're killing me, Smalls. Like,
watch
it's
it all
just-
the time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, my favorite part of that movie, and excuse me, my favorite part of that movie is when the kid is talking to Smalls and he's telling him the story about the burglars and the dog. And he has this line that stuck with me for many, many years where he goes, all the people were reporting all the missing burglars. I'm like, what? That didn't even make any sense. Why would people be reporting missing burglars? Yeah, I can't even talk missing burglars. But
He's a wordsmith.
But then how can I have some more of something if I don't even know what it is?
No, it's one of my favorite
Yeah.
baseball movies. It's one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. It doesn't make my top 10. It's close. It will be an honorable mention, but
warning: do not if somebody tries to give you CPR by a pool, do not try to French kiss them. You can go to jail.
yes,
that was classic too.
That was okay in the 50s.
it really
was
was
classic.
That was called a Friday.
All right, number 8.
I was gonna say my number 9 is.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Space Jam.
Ooh.
Hey, just
Everybody
hold it.
get
Just
up.
hold
It's
it.
on the mountain. It's everybody get down. Welcome to the Space Jam.
Now, this could be considered the ultimate basketball movie. Now, everybody would argue with me. They'll be like, "Hey, Glenn, what about Blue Chips? What about what is that one? Glory Road? What
I'm not
about all
spoiling
this?"
anything.
John Carter.
However, it has the greatest basketball players of all time in it.
The greatest basketball player of
here
all
we
time,
go.
Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah,
No
that's a good
argument
one,
with me.
Shawnee.
That was a good one.
All right,
So we're going to move on to number 8.
number 8.
Timeout. Can't let you finish. 1, Michael LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. I was
Okay.
trying to hold it in the best I could. Can't do it. Number 2 is they may be doing.
He's still playing. He can't be a GOAT.
They can. Tom Brady
Spud
still
Webb
plays. He's a
is-
goat. Number 2 is they may be making a Space Jam 2. Whole bunch of rumors around that. It's been happening for a long time. They said
rumors,
LeBron, then they're like
yeah,
Blake
for like-
Griffin.
It's been like 6 years that when
Yeah, but let's look at this. Who are they going to get? Steph Kerr and LeBron, and that's your all-stars? You know what I mean? Or,
this is a sports podcast. Bring your A game here, Glenn.
I'm just saying.
Kevin Durant.
I come from an era where we recognized every basketball player. All I know is those two.
Anyway,
That was awesome.
I told you guys I watch football. Or I didn't tell you guys I only watch football.
number 8.
Number 8.
Number 8, Happy Gilmore.
All right, the producers are clapping.
That is my number 8 as well.
All right,
Holy
perfect.
smokes.
Now, this movie is ridiculous, but it's hysterical. It has a lot you jackass. And it's got a lot of great parts, a lot of fun actors. And stuff you
Carl
just
Weathers.
Carl Weathers.
Carl.
And it just has so many great things about it. And it has the I can't remember her name. I feel bad for it, but it has the girl from the actress from Modern Family in it. I can't remember what her name is now.
Gloria? Wait, no.
No, not good.
No,
That would make Happy Gilmore a little higher than number 8 on my list.
No.
She was from Weeds as well.
Was she on that?
Yeah.
Oh no. No, you're way off. That's whatever. I can't remember the name. But that movie is great. Lots of funny parts. We were talking before we even got on air here about the Subway commercial. Yes. Talk about a hole-in-one.
Julie Bowen.
That's what it is. Julie Bowen. She's from Modern Family, and
Check
You mean
out.
Gloria?
Wait.
No.
Check
Back
out
Gloria.
if she's in Weeds.
I don't think
She's
she is.
not. It's I know her. It's not Julie Bowen. I can guarantee you.
It's
that.
oh my gosh.
You're talking about the main character.
No.
No.
No,
She
no.
might have been in it.
In
Oh.
an episode of Weeds. Okay, let me look it up.
18
keep going.
episodes.
Keep talking.
Oh,
I was
look at him go.
I was
He
being
has it
fun of on this
down.
one. I'm going all in with it. No, she was.
Just keep talking.
She was on Weeds. She's one of my favorite actresses.
I saw your list, Glenn. I'm
Okay,
joking, I'm
well,
joking.
let's move on to Dave and let's
Okay.
see what his number 8 is.
My number 8. It's way different from yours. Happy Gilmore. I swear. Look at this. It's on pen on paper. Happy Gilmore.
His was
Growing
two,
up,
yeah.
the Bob Barker scene. I just,
Oh,
we didn't even
The
talk
Price
about
is
that
Right.
scene. But I
That's
think
what it
I've
was.
not even we exaggerate when you with people and you're on live. I say I'm 6'9". I think I've seen that movie more than 50 times. I really do. When just growing up.
Oh, yeah, I remember those episodes. Sorry.
Was she on Weeds, producer?
Oh, yeah, she was on Weeds.
Thank you. I was right. All right, have a great night, guys. Bye. See you later.
So to continue with Happy Gilmore, that was a great movie. It's got a lot of funny things we say, like what is the part where he breaks the bottle and he's like threatening Shooter McGavin. He's like, hey, put that down. I know.
I'll see you at the driving range or something. God, it was awesome.
Red jacket, gold jacket, green jacket.
Yeah.
I'll make you pay. Hear what I say. Or I can make things out of clay, go down by the bay. Hey, I just may. Anyway.
Green jacket, gold jacket. Who gives a shit? Classic.
Max, number 8.
Yes, sir. Another movie I grew up watching, Little Giants.
Oh, that's
Absolutely
a nice movie.
loved Little Giants.
Speaking of Modern Family.
Yes.
Ed O'Neill's the coach.
Yeah,
on that.
and what it taught me,
coach.
and growing up,
Was it
you know
Rick
how
Grimes?
in schools how they always emphasize like bullies and you should always stand up for yourself, and like that was just like the epitome of that. Like it was just standing up for what you believe in. It doesn't matter how big you are, if you have the heart. It's just another movie I just always like not only looked up to, but just I could watch it every morning.
I just love Ed O'Neill's character in that. He's so hardcore. It's almost like a precursor, almost to Kicking and Screaming.
Almost. Talking about Little Giants, before our list, I had around 46, 40 of them. Glenn had over 50 movies. We tried to get it down here to 10. Max, that didn't even make my 46. And no, in a bad way. Like, I love that movie.
I love it.
Icebox. I remember Icebox. I've seen that movie 15 times as a kid watching it with Drew.
And the go-kart.
I love that movie. It didn't even make my list. That's unbelievable. I'm so happy we're doing this. I'm reminded of how great that movie is. I love that movie.
I'm glad I could
Good
do
Really
that.
cool. Awesome.
So
Producer,
do you have a number 8?
It was
Happy Gilmore.
exactly Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
So 3 out of the 4 had Happy Gilmore. What are the chances?
Unfortunately, my number 7
Okay.
is one we already talked about. It was Talladega Nights. For the reason is
Nice.
that I swear it's a documentary. I've lived here for 20 years, and I swear. Okay,
Want to go to
if
Chili's
you've ever
after
been
this?
Oh, is it Applebee's? Yeah. Yeah.
On that note,
On that note, let's see what
I can
Dave's
argue a
number
little
7.
bit against with it being exactly how it was, but it's obviously
It's parody,
right.
But
it's
at the same
parodied.
time, there's a lot of truth to it.
There can be, yes, but it paints some of the
You know,
negative
the number
lights.
40 car, we just try to push it down. We try to roll it on.
I still do. I don't know what to do with my hands.
True story. A friend of mine in class, back when I was in college, we would joke about that movie, and I told him, watch, I'm going to give this presentation, and I'm going to do it. And during the middle, I certainly brought up my hands right here and held them right there for no reason. This guy is like rolling in the back of the classroom, and nobody could understand what I'm
did they
doing
say?
or why I'm doing it.
they just stared at you.
They just stared at me. Everyone's like talking. They're like, what is he? What's with the hands? What is he?
No, what was funny is like 8-pound baby Jesus, and they're like, just say your prayer. Just say your prayer.
I prefer my Jesus to be wearing.
8-pound golden fleece diaper, just so omnipotent. Listen, Chip, I like Christmas Jesus the best.
And they're like,
When you say Grace, you can say Tachina's Jesus, grown up Jesus. I like to picture my Jesus with the big angel wings.
And he's wearing a
Leonard
tuxedo
Steve, yeah.
T-shirt that's
and I'm hammered drunk.
he's like, are you going to let him
playing
speak
the
to your
lead
grandpa like
vocals
that?
for Skinner.
Like a spider monkey.
He's like, you're damn right I will.
One of my favorite sequences is when he's in the hospital and Michael Clark Duncan, God rest his soul, he shows up and he's yelling at him. And he's like, "You did this to yourself, Ricky!" And he takes the knife and stabs himself.
He's like, I can't feel anything. Watch. And he takes the knife.
That was amazing.
Wow.
All
He's
right,
like, you can't
See,
walk.
Classic.
That's why we love these movies so much. They just conjure up all. You could just play them over and over again in your head, and that's why we love them so much.
Wow.
Number
Okay.
7?
Number
My
7.
number 7. It's Kevin Costner. It's a baseball movie.
Wow, narrow it
Yeah, I
down.
know.
Jeez.
Field of Dreams.
If you build it, they will come.
Perfect. You kind of
All right.
nailed that.
You have a quote from every movie.
That's the quote from that movie.
James Earl Jones. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, like Simba, right?
And Darth Vader.
And
I
Vader,
thought you were
man.
going there first, but I
The
take
Sandlot.
Simba. I know.
Sandlot.
I was about to say Sandlot.
When we were watching Sandlot with my
Really?
son, I said, "Do you recognize that?" And
Darth-
he's like, "He sounds familiar." I'm like, "It's Darth Vader." He goes,
My dad
No,
did
it's
this.
not. It's Darth Vader.
My dad did the same thing, and I was like, "No way!" So then the next movie I put in was Star Wars. I'm like,
That's funny you guys do that because like I do that with my son Caleb all the time. Actually, my wife Lindsay does it more than I do, but she goes, "Do you recognize that? That's David Tennant. He's Scrooge McDuck." Blah blah blah.
I do that with The Rock with Moana. That's our movie for the last 2
I
years.
did it the other way
and
around.
Then The Rock, I was like, buddy, he's kind of getting into wrestling. It's a growing of age. His favorite's The Undertaker. I'm like, no, we got to do more Rock videos. I'm like, he's Maui. You know what I mean? He's like, what? It's just crazy.
So I did the David Tennant the other way when we watched DuckTales. I was like, that's the Doctor. And he goes, oh, because I watched Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
To you, DuckTales.
But anyway, Field of Dreams is interesting. You brought up Kevin
love that
Costner.
movie.
I have a feeling that Kevin Costner never could make it as a baseball player, so he got into acting so he could play baseball players.
Nailed it. And I love the game. Bull Durham's an old school classic, really funny movie. Tim Robbins, school.
Tim Robbins.
Yes.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
my number 7. I could just watch it over and over and over again. Longest Yard.
Great
Good
one.
movie.
Absolutely love
Speaking
it.
of wrestlers,
When Bob Sapp is just incline pressing the whole bleachers with everybody sitting on it. And then, believe it or not, he fought in Pride. I don't know if you remember that. He fought
Bob
Nogueira
Sapp.
in Pride.
you teach me
Bill
to football?
Goldberg,
He's like, he broke
Kevin
in my
Nash,
nose.
Nelly. Like that. It's just the great Khali's in it. It's amazing.
He's like, you look like
Longest
Michael
Yard.
now.
You teach me to football. That's my favorite thing because, like, whenever they put out The Blind Side, I completely they made Michael Orr look like that guy for some reason. Michael Orr does not. He's not. Can you teach me to football?
And when he breaks
he
his
knew how to
nose-
play football whenever that all
Yeah.
happened.
He was like, I love little Michael. Well, that's how he convinced him it was okay. I loved it.
Gosh, it's a good movie. I saw it in the theater back
Yeah.
in the Disney, and
Disney.
the Disney, and yeah, I remember all that. Adam Sandler's great in it. Paul Crew, I think his name was in it.
Yep.
And I was like, and they
Tim
had
Burt-
Stone Cold Steve Austin as he played football. He was
Yeah.
running back in
Fun fact for you.
college.
And the original, they have the original guy who played it, right?
Yeah, Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
So that was really cool, too. Just a little cool twist. And then Chris Rock, of course, is hilarious.
I just remember the basketball game.
It's a great cast.
Basketball game
Great
with
cast.
Michael Irving.
Yeah.
Man, Michael Irving putting it on. Listen,
a great
say
athlete.
Phenomenal football player of all time.
Yep. Totally agree.
Oh, we're back to me, I think.
Number
We're asking producer,
produce.
what do we have for number 7?
It's probably going to be a little low on the list for you guys, but Rocky 4.
Rocky 4. In these times,
That's the only
listen,
Rocky movie I have
hey,
on my list.
Hey, in these times with the Russians, that's messed up.
It was my favorite. of
Very
them.
topical.
Went back and forth between the original Rocky and Rocky 4. I love that storyline in it.
It's
Living in
so hard to
America.
choose which one's like your favorite because I love the third one with Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
The second one
Hulk
is
Hogan.
like the best because of Apollo Creed,
Right.
and then of course,
But see, 4,
and then the fourth one, of course, going into Russia against Drago.
that was my favorite. I was going to pick one Rocky movie, and that's the one. Like you had the 4 for number 10. I'm like, 4 was my favorite.
I have fond memories of that movie. I just remember, so when they're doing the training montage, of course, Drago has this whole,
Technology,
the
the robot,
everything.
little
running
robot.
the snow.
Oh, and then whenever he punches the pad as hard as he can, and it breaks or whatever.
All-time
And then
great.
Rocky's just punching meat.
Yep.
I don't know if I should rephrase that. But,
Hey, we're kid friendly at the
2018.
show. We're kid friendly here.
well, I didn't say anything.
All right, number 6. For
Number
me.
6. Well, I'm number 6. Come on, bro.
Lucky number 6.
Lucky number 6. I actually have Moneyball.
Oh, Brad
Yeah.
Pitt.
Brad Pitt, Jonah
Jonah
Hill,
Hill.
Honorable-
is phenomenal.
honorable
Okay, now
Love that movie.
normally I wouldn't do Chris Pratt. Normally I wouldn't do a behind the scenes kind of movie, but when I watched that movie, I was just watching it to watch it because I heard about it and it was on HBO or something, and I put it on and I just watched the whole thing. I was just like, this is fascinating stuff. And it's a true story. And then it has one of Brad. By the way, if you guys ever watch a Brad Pitt movie, notice one thing: he eats in every single movie. He doesn't know what. Speaking of Ricky Bobby, he doesn't know what to do with his hands, so he eats in every single.
I read that when something about the Ocean's movies because he's always
As
eating
Troy?
something there.
Always eating
As
every
Troy?
single movie.
I mean, as Achilles?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't.
He probably in one of the scenes. I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure.
He eats in almost every single.
Or he had a sword in his hand, so I'm sure that gave him something to play with. But I'm just.
You guys talk about punching.
Hey, Brad Pitt did have a lady seat, so maybe you say, "Hey, never mind. All right."
But I really enjoyed that. I thought Jonah Hill was phenomenal in that movie. He's a really good actor.
He's a stud. He really is a stud actor, and I think he was up for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. I don't think he won it, but he was up for it. All right, my number 6. We talked about it earlier in the night. Cinderella Man.
Loved it.
A little Paul Giamatti. Yep. Howard. Russell Crowe. We talked about
Was that Renee Russo not Renee Russo, Renee Zellweger in that movie?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I keep pointing at him because he's got his phone and I'm not typing on mine to look
and
it
he
up.
knows more than us. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But it's a phenomenal movie. Deserves to be on the list.
Love it.
I do not have boxing movies on my list.
Number 6. It's not going to be on anybody's list, but give me just like 2 minutes to explain.
Okay. Oh, we got it, Max. We're listening.
Number 6, Conor McGregor's movie Notorious. And the reason why it's up there for me is not as far as the movie quality, but this is what's interesting. Not only is he one of my favorite athletes, so if you don't know Conor McGregor, he grew up in Ireland, and he was in debt, and he had to move with his mom, and he quit his job. He was doing plumbing, and he said, I'm going to be a world champion, so I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to move in with you with my girlfriend, and I'm going to save money, and I'm going to become a UFC champion. And what he did is he put he actually has film of him when he was young and when he was broke. He said, look, this is me in debt. And he has footage of him training, of him showing his debt from the Irish Bureau, and just him training and going through the steps. And then he works his way up and he becomes a world champion. And it was all backstage while he was going through the process. So the movie necessarily may not be like as classic as Sandlot, but the fact that it's real footage of him going into there, documentary of him going through that, is why it's my number 6.
Okay, it's respectable. I mean,
you know my take on like the fight. I'm not a huge MMA or it's because of you mainly. It's on my Netflix queue. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. But it's on there.
It's incredible.
I want to know because I want to know how much, why you love him so much.
And he talks a lot of crap, and don't get me wrong, it can rub people the wrong way, but one thing that you can't take away is he truly believed in himself from day one. And like you see him saying it when it's just him and his girlfriend. He's like, I'm going to become a world champion.
That's cool.
And like he's saying, I'm going to knock this guy out in 5 seconds when he does. It's like just stuff that's unbelievable.
Very cool.
And I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, dude, that was such a good pick. And I just watched the movie, and it's one of those things. Sean,
you bought it for me.
Yeah, thanks, man. Christmas.
Yep.
If you watch it, you will like him more. It's a unbelievable. If you can't watch that movie and just be like, holy crap, he just gave his whole life to the sport. And I love the grind. I love the process. We talk about it all the time. Yeah, maybe one day we'll be on Fox Sports 1, but I love what we're doing tonight. This is the process of becoming something bigger, better.
Exactly.
And like the footage that they have from him at 22 years old is amazing. It's breathtaking. It really is an awesome doc.
How old is he now?
28?
Yeah. And whatever, and I feel like
a short time to accomplish something.
Yeah,
like that.
and every movie I'm choosing, I'm starting to realize actually while we're doing this podcast, I am trying to relate to them somehow. It's like Dave, you just mentioned we're doing this podcast, but our goal is to go somewhere with it, and it's just kind of like, okay, I can relate to Connor in that way, or Cinderella Man, he has a goal and he has to pursue it. It's just really cool stuff. And on that note, I'm sorry, keep going.
No, I think that's perfectly respectable because that's kind of everyone's view who does any kind of media or does anything to put themselves out there because you kind of cross that bridge of I'm kind of like I've listened a bunch, but you know what, I have something to say and I want people to hear what I have to say in my take. So no, I absolutely believe everything you just said, and I think it's the reason why anybody does this. Or even, like you said with Conor McGregor. I mean, he has a goal.
Thank you, first of all. But on that note, quick intermission. We want to thank our sponsors. We have Fit Meals, myfitmeals.com. You can start your meal plan today. And Dave, you're famous. What's the number?
844-FIT-4-U.
One more time.
844-FIT-4-U.
And guys, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to put on muscle, if you're just busy with work, or if you're podcasting, whatever the case may be with school, it's like just quick, 45 seconds is the absolute perfect time to put it in the microwave. It's healthy food, it's vegetables, it's fruits, and it's awesome.
Max, do you eat Fit Meals?
All the time.
I eat Fit Meals all the time, but you know who ate Fit Meals for the very first time today? Dylan. 13 months yesterday, he ate some Fit Meals. So, Dimitri, It doesn't go for adults, for ladies, for older people, for 13-month kids.
Yeah, it's absolutely the best. Dimitri's an awesome guy. If you have any allergic reactions or if there's foods you don't like, you talk to him and he'll literally make his meal plan around you.
Plan for you. It's unbelievable, and people are scared about the price. They think, for 1 week, but by the time you go to Chick-fil-A for lunch, you go to dinner out to Applebee's or even make home, it's comparable. It really is, and it's just healthy for you. I love Fit Meals. Go and buy it.
Also, want to say a special thank you to Wicked Cuts.
Yes.
Had the fresh cut today. JT, you always get the fresh fade. We're all going there. They're awesome. Mention Locked In. You get $5 off. They're the best. They have 2 locations, one in Port Orange, also one in Daytona. And whoever you go to, I go to Rio's. Chris Mixon, I was with him today at Wicked Cuts. He fights for Pete White Boxing and MMA. Big shout out to them. He went and he got it by Jeff. JT, who do you go to?
Gio?
Yeah, I believe Gio.
I've gone to Frankie. I've gone to Gio and Dakota. Last time. She gave me the best.
Dude, talk about Dakota's cancer thing coming up.
Yeah, she texted me on that. Let me
Whoa.
Whoa, hey.
Everyone can cut hair.
No. Yeah, it doesn't matter
there.
who you go to.
I think it's June 10th. I'm just great with days and numbers. June 10th.
Sure.
It's a Saturday or a Sunday. I'm a wordsmith. I don't know. She has it's a canter drive about haircuts. Definitely go to Wicked Cuts. It's in Port Orange, Florida. JT's looking it up right now, but I'm pretty sure.
Dave, hold on.
Yeah.
Glenn and I are looking at each other over here.
Yeah.
He said, I'm great with dates and numbers. And then you look at us and say, I'm a wordsmith.
Okay. Yeah. Sunday, June 10th.
I don't get it.
10 a.m. till 5
Sunday,
PM.
June 10th.
Yeah, they're doing a Wicked Cuts Cancer Sucks cut-a-thon. So from what it says here, you make a donation, you get a fresh fade.
Yes.
And they're also doing like
$5
$5 raffles, and they're going to give a couple cuts away. And they're going to do that at the
Port
Ridgewood.
Orange.
Yep, the one on Port Orange, the one that I go to.
Awesome. Very cool. Hey,
And shout out to Gio.
Great
You know,
cause.
Gio told me to tell you, ladies, hit him up.
Whoa.
That's
what I'm saying.
Now
He's
we're
an-
a date podcast. too
He's
now?
an awesome
do
guy.
everything.
I know
Gio is amazing.
He really is. Let's just drive to Pep-Boys. Let's get that straight away, guys. Richie is our main man at Pep-Boys. Unbelievable. Anything for our cars. I've had tire problems. Max, you got the AC fixed yet?
No, not yet. But
Okay.
I'm going to Pep-Boys.
Go see
Going
our
to
man
Pep-Boys.
Richie, 2250 West International Speedway. It's right across from the racetrack. You can't miss it.
No,
It's
you
been
can't.
there. It's been there. It's 20 years. It's a landmark.
Next to Carrabba's, right?
Yes.
There you go.
And that same so if you're facing, I think it's across from the tower that has the that hospital logo on it. I won't plug it. Right across from there, there's Pep-Boys right there.
Definitely. Go in there. Any problem with your cars, tell him Locked In sent you. He'll hook you up for sure.
All
Okay.
right. That's our intermission. So now we are down to number 5 there, Mr. Glenn.
Oh wow, number 5. I
Wait,
think
the produce number
we didn't do 6 for him. I'm sorry.
Remember the Titans.
Boom. That's in my honorable mention.
Left
Our
side.
movie, Strong Side.
Left side.
Strong Side.
Gosh, that's awesome.
It's a fantastic movie, and you know it's funny. I'm finding,
I'm
we're
not
gonna run
peeking.
into it again.
That I remember when that movie came out. It came out in September, and it was the highest grossing movie ever in the month of September for like 30 years. Mm-hmm. And then I think something else beat it a couple years later, but that movie didn't have a lot of hype, and it was just Denzel Washington, and he was a star, but I don't think he was a movie star yet.
No. He was well into movie star. by
Former
then.
Buccaneer.
Really?
2000, 2000.
Yeah, he's well into movie star. When he did like Ricochet back in like 1990, that's when he was still kind of young.
Quick big shout
And,
out to Mainland, though.
Okay.
So we have Coach Joe, of
Yeah,
course,
Joe
that's
Giddens.
been on this podcast, and then Vince Carter.
Yep.
Did you know that Denzel Washington went to Mainland?
Yes.
Yeah, Mainland
That's
Buck.
awesome.
Once
So did my father went.
1962.
He was there the same year.
That's awesome.
My dad was there. I think Denzel's like he was there. Denzel was there for 1 year, and he was like a junior. My dad, I think, was like a freshman or something,
That's
Silver
awesome.
Sands.
He's one of the best actors.
or it was the other way around. I think Denzel was
Crabs,
younger.
whatever they
I can't remember. I have to look up the age, but yeah, it was around that
That
same
one.
time.
I didn't
Oh,
go
yeah.
to school.
But yeah, I was looking here too. They had a budget of $30 million. What do you think it did worldwide?
Worldwide. I'm gonna say 300 million.
No.
Lower.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
240.
136
137. But
What do you think?
still,
But back in the day,
in year 2000.
that's year 2000 money. Okay, that's a lot of. That's a
that's
lot
like
of.
$800 billion now.
It's funny, and we'll talk about it later. But no, that's a great pick. That's a really great pick.
So you number 5?
Number 5 is one we already talked about. Actually, it is The
like how you're hiding your
Sandlot.
list.
Sorry, The Sandlot. We already talked about it, so I don't think there's too much to say except for the whole premise is about that great Bambino baseball, right?
Yes, sir.
And the dog, and it's such a fun movie. I'm sorry, that's something I'm going to show to my kid. Hopefully he likes it. And, he's more into like the action movies, but I enjoy it.
My son was more obsessed with like the dog scenes necessarily than like learning about baseball type of thing, but it was still kind of fun.
I just love the banter. Dennis Leary's in that movie.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the stepfather.
Yeah.
Stepfather, yeah. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's
Check
really
it out.
good.
If you haven't seen it, if you're under the age of me, whatever, I'm not going to say, but if you're under the age of me, you got to look at it. It's a good movie.
Definitely. All right, my number 5. One line, the whole movie. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Drop mic.
It's a good movie.
For number 5, you dropped the mic. You got to pick that thing back up.
Do
You got
another podcast for the next 40 minutes.
You got 4 more to go, buddy.
We had a pirate on our team?
Oh man, such a great Alan Tudyk.
There's so many characters in it
Phenomenal.
that became superstars. Like the whole cast is stacked.
Starred in Apple commercials. That's great. Vince
Die Hard
Vaughn,
4.
Ben Stiller. Dodgeball is what he's saying because you didn't even say the name of it, but Dodgeball is what he's talking about. Phenomenal movie. Funny movie.
Blazer. Razor.
Rip Torn is the best in that movie.
So good. So Dodgeball is my number 5. Yeah.
He says
Dodge, dip,
Dip,
duck,
dive.
dive, and dodge. So good. I love that movie. I love it. I laughed 92 times.
I love Ben Stiller in that movie. He's like the perfect villain.
I think he started that really dry, sarcastic heel in a movie. I think that was the start of something of like, Deadpool. He's dry, sarcastic, funny, vulgar. I think Ben Stiller had a little bit of twinkle, twinkle in him. Okay, Max.
Did you do 5 already?
Nope,
No,
Max
no.
is number 5.
So my number 5. Okay, I'm going to be a little extra here. I'm going to do a little background real quick. So when I transferred schools from Spruce Creek to Atlantic, or just from different AAU teams, you always saw different programs, and there's, of course, some hints right now. But this related exactly to our team my senior year at Atlantic, and it was like, wow! As soon as Coach Howard would step in, immediate respect. Everybody got in the line. Already were doing drills before he even said do any drills, and just if he entered the room. Howard went to the school and changed the program around like that. And just the immediate effect he had as soon as you were right next to him. And he was all about education. And Coach Joe's the same way. So when I saw this, I watched it with Rob, who plays for Bethune. I'm like, I love this movie. Coach Carter. Absolutely love. And it was just the best. Just seeing him and just he literally locked the gym down when everyone was like, no, they need to play. He's like, their grades are terrible. He's like, their grades are awful. They need to sit in the front of the classroom. They need to get good grades. And then I'll open the gym. And he got scrutinized for it, and everyone hated him, but he stood his ground, and I just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and it's hard to find. Well, at least in my opinion, the very few coaches I've been under, it's kind of hard to find that dedication to the
Book side.
yeah,
of it.
the academics of everything.
And, of course, it's Samuel Jackson. So
well,
the
phenomenal.
worst actor.
Oh,
ever.
What?
Well, in Star Wars,
You like
yeah.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, he's the
Whoa, Tom Cruise is
I'm
phenomenal.
not saying he's a
Take
bad
that back.
actor, but he's I
best. He
think
does his own stunts. He's amazing.
I think he's
Broke
overrated.
what did he break his leg or was
I think
it
he's
his
overrated
forearm?
a tad.
Impossible Four. Tom Cruise overrated.
I
Just a
highly
tad.
disagree with you.
Just
Yeah.
a tad. I think
No.
he is just a tad.
You
Just
ready
because
for
a
this?
bulk of his movies came out before you were born doesn't mean he's overrated.
Have you seen the Mission Impossible
Yeah.
series? It's phenomenal.
No, I love the Mission
And
Impossible.
Brad
The new one
Pitt-
looks great, too. But
Brad Pitt's like the second. Tom Cruise has the most best movies. Like the most movies
The
that
most
are
best movies.
7.5 or higher. There's just 26 of them. You went all the Oblivions. What's the War? The
Lived
War of
Every
Alien.
Day.
Yeah, War of Words. Oh my
Oh
god,
yeah,
great movie.
That was a Spielberg joint.
I love
And
that.
so was
Yeah.
so was that. What was the movie where they had the COG police where they would
Minority Report.
Minority Report. Yeah, another
Awesome
Spielberg
movie.
movie.
Report.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I've had this debate with my wife. My wife doesn't like Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise. And I was listing off movies. I'm like, he's phenomenal in this. He's phenomenal in this. He's phenomenal. So why don't she goes, I don't know. There's just something about him. So I understand where you're coming from.
Jeremy
But
Maguire, come on.
and But yeah, one of my favorite movies of all times is A Few Good Men.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yes.
I love him in that.
If it's
so good.
it's one of those
The ensemble cast. Is phenomenal.
it's one of those movies like when you talk about. I've seen debates like if you see it on TV, you stop. It's like that's one of them. I see it on there. My wife now stops for me when she sees it on there. She goes, "I'm just gonna watch. No matter where it's at, I'll start watching. Pick it up right where it was."
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Live, Die,
Oblivion.
Repeat.
Yeah, all the Minority Reports.
Jack Reacher. I'm not a fan of the Jack Reacher.
Yeah, Jack
The first
Reacher
one was
Tropic
pretty good.
Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
Jack Reacher wasn't all that.
That wasn't.
I like the first one. I didn't see the second
Collateral.
Collateral. That was
He
with
was in
Jamie
Goldmember,
Foxx,
and then
right?
he has the whole, like you say, the whole old school. How about the the Interview with the Vampire, Few Good Men, Days of Thunder, Born on the 4th of July, Rain Man, Cocktail, Color of Money, Top Gun.
Top Gun. They're
They're
doing another one right now. He's doing another one right now.
He is the GOAT of actors.
No,
There you
get out of here. Anyway,
Risky business?
Yeah,
Risky business?
Some people would, that's a big argument of who's the goat of actors, especially with, people like Tom Hanks and the
I was going to say Tom
about to
Hanks.
say-
But
Yeah, he's up
this
there.
is where Tom Hanks has a problem. Tom Hanks, when he was hitting his stride, he was in a lot of funny movies. Now he refuses to do funny movies, and I don't like that. You need to go back to what made you, like Joe versus the volcano and all that fun stuff.
I got no legs, Jenny. That's why it's not the goat.
Wait, no, I got no legs. There was Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
I got no legs. You let whatever.
What kind of shrimp? I do bucket shrimp, Gulf shrimp.
Oh, Bubba Gump.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he started. This is a little segue, guys. Sorry, I talk about movies a lot.
That's why we want
Bubba
you.
Gump, actually, the guy who played Bubba, played in what is that movie? Con Air with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, that was a good
and then
movie.
it's
Yeah.
funly because like he dies in Nicolas Cage's arms and is like two.
Spoiler
and he did them
alert.
one year apart. Oh, that's over 20 years. Come on. Like 1 year apart, he did those movies, and in both movies, he's like sitting there bleeding in a feeble white man's arms. It's feeble-minded.
Put the bunny in the box.
yeah. The Geiger,
You nailed that.
Counter.
the Geiger Counter. By the way, guys, make sure you listen to it. Sean, you're a number 5.
Number
I
5.
think we already discussed it, which was Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
One of the top 5 Kevin Costner baseball movies of all time.
Are there only 5? Because it seems like they're.
I was researching it. I could only find 5, but while researching it, he is going to be making one more baseball movie about.
Is it with Dennis Quaid?
That's another about the Cubs.
Really?
Oh, good.
Oh, wow.
So that's he said he's going to make one more baseball movie.
Can I just throw this down real quick?
Yeah.
Field of Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
If you're, and I don't want this to be sexist or anything, but if you're like a son, you always want your dad to like say,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm sure daughters too. So I don't know why I said that, but he's like, Dad, you want to play ball? It's like it was like so. It's that
I
moment
cry every
where
single
every
time.
guy's
I
like,
cry every single time.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
I got home from work today and
It's amazing.
I took a work phone call, so I literally walked in the door with my laptop. I sat down on the table, opened the laptop, answered a couple questions, was sitting there, and then I end the phone call and I keep working on my laptop. My son comes up to me and goes, "Hey, Daddy, can we cuddle?" I'm like, I just shut my laptop and went to the couch.
Yeah, I'm really bad with that because 40 hours a week editing, and I try to play with them as much as I can. Play Legos a lot. That's fun.
I feel about work the same thing I feel about turkey.
Wow. This again. I love turkey. Anyway,
Oh, so that was Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
so you're number
All
4.
right,
Classic.
we're in number
Classic.
4.
Top 4.
Guys, this may be controversial, maybe not. The Mighty Ducks.
That's on my honorable mention.
Love the Mighty Ducks. It's all about hockey. Yes, there's Emilio. But like from the ground up, it's about a ex-hockey player who has to coach kids hockey, and then it's just a fun movie, and it's got a lot of heart.
Quack.
Quack, quack,
Quack,
quack, quack, quack, quack, quack.
I recently watched
Flying
that,
V.
and I was like trying to get my son into watching it, and he goes, "Dad, where's the Ducks?" I'm like, "No, their team name is the Ducks." Yes, Mr. Ducksworth.
They
This
want
is how
everything
good
animated now.
Yeah, but this is how good that movie is. It was so good. It was so good that Disney made an actual team in the NHL in Anaheim off of it.
Wow.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I know they're Ducks. Was that the reason why?
I think they were the. Well, I don't know if they're still there, but I remember this. No, they went down to Texas. I was thinking the Stars, the North Stars, but they went down to Texas, I believe.
Dave, what's your number 4?
No.
Well, I was
wrong.
going to say on the Mighty Ducks. Going back and looking at it as an adult, what kind of like punishment that a judge gives a guy is to coach a hockey team, and now you're giving all your kids to this guy who's serving
For what was it, drunk driving?
something
or
like that,
Yeah.
a suspension, like or a punishment is coaching this team, like. That doesn't make sense to me.
Dang Disney.
I know, but I still love it. I love it. On the limo on the ice. I love all of it.
They call him Cake Eater because he's a rich guy.
Yeah,
It's like-
the second movie was just as good. I think when
It's
they're doing
Minnesota.
the Olympics. Yeah.
It was good. It wasn't as good as the first. It was good.
No, you're right. But I definitely like.
I love I love you brought up the Emilio. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
thing.
Emilio. Okay,
right.
number 4.
Quattro.
Sean said it earlier. It's the Rocky, and it's number 4, so I'm going with Rocky 4. I love them all. I'm a Hulk Hogan. I'm a diehard wrestling fan, but Rocky 4, Hearts on Fire at the end with Drago. I love all the Rockies, seen them all, but Rocky 4 is the one I watch the most. So Rocky 4 is my 4th favorite sports movie of all time.
It's so funny because when I'm thinking about this movie, I keep flashing into like Rambo for some reason. I mix up all my 80s Sylvester Stallones. He's like I'm thinking of him saying, "I'm coming for you." And I'm like, wait, that wasn't in that.
Throat.
Wasn't in that.
I remember growing up watching it. Dad always said it was Uncle Gary's favorite. He was like, "This is just our favorite right here." Number 4, the training scenes, kind of how you're talking about, Sean, is just you have like the machines, and then he's lifting boulders and running in the snow up. I'm like, okay, this is awesome.
Watching it on Laserdisc.
I just hate seeing Apollo die, and I was like, oh my god, Apollo died. I loved Apollo. And
Spoiler alert.
Whoa, 1986.
Apollo
or
Creed's a great one too.
Anyway, I kind of count that under the Rocky umbrella. Creed.
Yes,
It is. It's
Okay,
in
okay,
the,
sure.
it's-
Just saying.
it's Sylvester Stallone wrote it.
My number 4, no secret, Space Jam. It's made it up there just because
Space Jam.
it's basketball's movie. Like when you think of basketball, you think of Space Jam. It's just them fighting the monsters, like you said, Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan.
I love that movie or that song.
I can touch the sky.
There we go.
I think about it every night and day.
Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door.
I believe
I can fly.
I can fly. I can fly. I can fly.
He does, you know what he does in that song? It's funny because he keeps going, woo, woo.
Is that before that he got in trouble?
Yeah,
with
that
the
was way
kids?
before he got
Okay.
in trouble. Okay,
Way before.
which is weird because it came right after his 12 Play album, which is all about getting down. And then they're like, you know who we should hire for a kids movie? R. Kelly. Let's get him to sing
That's
about.
why they make the big bucks.
But you know what? It's a phenomenal song.
Sean, your number 4?
Show me the money.
Oh, Jerry Maguire.
Yes,
That's on the same kind of level. Moneyball.
Yeah, it is. It's a different era. Again, we talked about like you Max on some of the movies that affected you. You kind of saw that was it's when you kind of watch the movie. Like growing up, I watched Jerry Maguire, and like I remember watching that as a kid, and seeing that coming up. So that it has a different impact to me than Moneyball. Moneyball to me is the nerd side of me and the baseball side of me that loves that. Jerry Maguire was the. Did I almost hit you?
No, I thought you were. That's like I'm looking out. Your hands flying over this one. I was like, "Oh, you're gonna hit him."
I talk with my hands.
almost
It's really
hit
good
me,
for the
bro.
podcast.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Yeah,
Like
it's really good for podcasting.
I know I'm taking beating over here.
But yeah, I love that
Love
the
it.
behind the scenes type thing with the agents and all that sort of who's coming with me?
Rosenhaus.
Yeah.
But no, absolutely. And Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Oscar.
He did?
And then he did Snow Dogs.
Air dry.
Number 3?
Oh man, that's good. No, it's a good movie. I like Jerry Maguire, and that put Renee Zellweger really on the map.
Yep.
And
You had me at hello.
yeah,
Bruce Springsteen, Secret Garden.
was that on there?
Yeah, that's what was playing during.
Oh, during the most
During-
because that's like a hodgepodge of things. It's a romantic comedy, but it's like a drama, and it's what I mean.
Sports.
It's to me, it's comedy. There's a lot. I laugh out loud funny. Oh, Cuba's kind of like the funny. You take MX ticket when his wife gets pregnant. It's like the water breaks at
Yeah.
the seafood place. Love it.
I remember that touchdown celebration where he'd like jump and spin around.
The spinner.
He did that whenever he won his Oscar. It was crazy.
And then Jay Moore was awesome in it. And
Jay Moore is so good at being snarky and being a jerk. He is awesome.
Yeah.
We're in the top 3, guys.
Yeah, you're number 3.
Number 3. Can you guys handle it?
Can you
Major League. And Major League.
We stopped.
Wait.
Major League.
Glenn, number 3, just Major League. Wow! Did that just happen?
Can I tell you what I think about Major League is that it's like if Bull Durham was better, it'd be Major League. Bull Durham has all the things that Major League has, but it doesn't execute it as well. I mean,
still a top
Tim
5
Robbins,
Kevin Costner baseball movie.
Tim Robbins is hysterical in that movie.
Susan Sarandon.
Mm-hmm. But Major League, just this
Wesley
cast
Snipes,
of characters.
Charlie
Sheen is phenomenal.
The minor league
Tom
scene.
Berenger.
Yes. Oh, Major League top 3, unbelievable.
And the fact that they did it with a real Major League team.
Cleveland Indians. They still haven't won a championship.
They came close, but somebody beat them.
Atlanta.
I was going to say the Cubs, but
Yeah, that too.
but yeah, no, I think that Major League is phenomenal, and I know we're not supposed to talk about sequels, but I enjoy the second one as much because it's
really good.
It's really good to kind of see, after a team has a successful season, where they go,
Right.
and they all ran off like, Vaughn got like all
Get some
like becomes a
money.
wuss and stuff. And who was the guy with the bat? Did the voodoo? That was the best.
Dennis
Serrano.
Haysbert.
Serrano, yeah.
Serrano.
Yeah, well, Dennis Haysbert. He was the president, 24.
Yeah. He
Allstate.
has the Allstate commercial.
He was also in the
Congo.
I can't even remember what the movie was. It was the one where anyway.
The one where the guy did the thing.
Okay, no, you're
My favorite comedy scene is in that movie. It's like, it's a home run. Wait, no, it's too high. It's too high.
Bob Uecker.
Yeah, it's gone. It's like, what do you mean it's too high? The projection of it, like the guys were arguing, it was like Dennis Quaid. White was the funny fan. It was his fan. Like,
No, Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid.
Don't insult his brother.
So it's just,
crazy Randy Quaid.
who gives a shit? It's gone. Like, it's the funniest thing. God.
Just a bit outside.
up your butt, Joe Boo.
WrestleMania, great. Maxwell, so ours was number 3. What's your number 3?
Did you call me Maxwell?
Yep.
No, but I can't
Like-
do it.
like
No, my number 3 is Southpaw. I remember watching it, and I was the first time I saw it.
What's his name?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
The first time I saw it, I was like, wow, that was amazing. And then the second time I saw it, I'm like, that was even better than the first time. And some people, like, they can't, like Olivia, when she watched it, she hated it because, of course, the wife died.
Oh, I hate
Spoilers, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm sorry. But it was just awesome. Like, he literally hits all-time low after being an undefeated champion. His wife passes away in an altercation, and he literally has to make his way back up. And he has to get custody of his daughter back, and he has to prove that he can care for her. And it just taught him more about life, which made him get back on track for boxing. And it was amazing. And then the action scenes inside the ring, I could argue, were the best. It was just, out of any boxing movie, it was so realistic. Just the shoulder rolls. Pete would love it from Pete White Boxing MMA. He would love it. It was just outstanding, the whole movie.
Very respectable.
Nice. Sean, number 3?
There's no crying in baseball.
League of Their Own. Great
Love
pick.
Great
movie.
pick. I love that movie. Tom Hanks.
That's your childhood right there.
It is. It is.
Madonna,
This used to
it's
be my childhood.
Yeah,
As the song
this used to
from
be my
that.
playground.
Playground. That's what
This
I'm sorry.
used to be my playground. No, I'm not going to do
But
it.
can it? That's a great pick
No, that
because,
is-
like, especially the top. The top. Did anybody tell you look like a penis with a hat?
Still will.
He's Woody.
He goes. No, what does he go? He goes. Did anybody tell you look like a penis with a hat? And he goes, "You're out of here! I can't believe nobody told you that before."
There's another great cast. Rosie O'Donnell's in it. There's just so many.
Lori
Gina
Petty.
Davis.
I had a
Yeah.
crush on Lori Petty. Lori Petty ever since, like, Free Willy and then Point Break.
Talking about Willie.
But no, like, so in that, and just like the way that the sisters, and like they wouldn't take her, even though she was arguably one of the best pitchers. That's just all that dynamic.
John Lovitz.
Another.
So you can't say sword
phenomenal.
or Willie.
You
around
can't
here.
say it. We're dead.
But then, like, her with Bill Pullman coming back, her husband coming back, and then she left. It's just that whole thing. I love that
It's
movie.
a great movie.
One of my biggest problems with that was just the fact that she gave her sister the game. I hated that.
Yeah.
I was like, "You're an athlete. You win." I guess I'm talking like Varsity Blues, but
I liked it. I love the ending.
phenomenal. And it had the real women at the end.
Oh yeah.
Before we ask your number 2, does Grown Ups count as a sports movie?
No.
Okay, well, time out because I can.
We also know at the same time 9 of us. There's like 2 people in the building, but 9 people said no.
No.
I could make the argument that it could be though because
They
you
played
talked
one
about
basketball game in it.
No, that's not true though because in the beginning of the movie originated because they were all a team and the coach passed away and that's why they came together.
Sorry, that was from that movie. Anyway.
It was from that movie,
Mm-hmm.
and they make multiple basketball
Wait,
references.
is it in your top 2?
No.
Okay, so then
I was just curious.
Green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a shit?
I was just thinking, so I was like,
No.
Dave, can you go get me a Boss Water?
Sorry, we
Is
don't
that
have
in
any
the Grown
glass
Ups movie?
water for your. Yeah, it's funny.
I don't remember that.
anyway, number 2.
I want to try some of her milk. It's a good movie. I love it. I own it. I hated the second one, but I like that movie. It's a good.
I'll give you a
was
jump
fun.
rope.
It was fun
It was so
because it
fun.
had all those guys in
Yeah.
it. You know, Rock, Spade.
And they're all friends in real
James.
life. and
Yeah,
you can
that's what made
see
it
that
fun.
through the movie.
And half of it,
It's not
like,
great, but it's fun.
if you watch like the behind the scenes stuff, like anytime they laugh and they cut, it's because they were really laughing. And they're like, "Oh, we gotta cut," because they were ad libbing a lot of stuff
Oh yeah.
to throw each other off.
Top 2, here we go,
Number
Glenn.
2.
Number 2.
You already said it. Remember the Titans.
Ooh, good one.
Wow.
Now, remember the Titans. This is in my top 2. This is unfortunate. Reality versus the movie. Okay. Now, if you go and look up Remember the Titans, like it really did not happen the way they portray it. But it's Disney-fied, and it's a phenomenal movie. You got a lot of cool stuff in there. You know, Denzel Washington, Hayden Panettiere. She started in that movie.
What's that show she was on?
Heroes?
Heroes.
Heroes. And then she did
Season
I
Nashville.
Love You,
2
Beth
was
Cooper.
awesome.
Well, she's on Nashville. Yeah, no. Does she sing? Is that like her
She
thing?
does. I think she does. I haven't watched
well?
it. I haven't watched. I have no clue.
No, I know she.
Heroes is muted most of the time. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
But
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
but the true story. But yeah, it's such a phenomenal movie, and Ryan Gosling's in it actually.
Yes.
And Ethan Suplee is in it, and just a great cast. You know, the mom jokes were the best. You know, oh man, I pulled my back last night.
Hold your mouth.
She weighs twice as much as me.
The one of the main stars on defense, wasn't he Anton Fisher? Another Denzel Washington movie a year or 2 later. That guy is a great actor. He was in the HBO show The Wire.
The Wire's phenomenal. Sorry.
Yeah.
Donald Faison.
That's his
Donald Faison.
Oh.
You're killing me, Petey.
name? Clueless, right?
Yes. He was
Scrubs,
on
more
that.
Scrubs
more-
more than anything.
I said Clueless.
But my favorite line I still say it today is "You're killing me, Petey." And then he has the other one. What's the other line? "You're killing me, Petey," and he goes, "You're not having any fun now, are you? Zero fun, sir."
Yeah, something I can't
Great
remember.
movie.
I know what part you're talking about too.
Yeah.
He's like, no,
He's
fun,
up in his
sir."
face.
Yeah, he's like, no, fun, sir.
No,
Water is for quitters.
I love that movie. It's not in my top 2. It is definitely an honorable mention. We'll go into that. My number 2, it was brought up, Moneyball. I absolutely
Great
love
movie.
it. I used to play fantasy baseball. I won every year. Sean.
I had you like 2/3 of 1 year, and I just missed a week, and you passed me, and that was
That
it.
was like my first movie. I'll go into it too. I've always wanted to do work in sports behind the scenes. I've always loved playing sports, but I'm 6 foot, white, not athletic. I didn't have a future. It just
If only you were Canadian.
I know, right? Play hockey. I just loved the behind the scenes stuff. It was really factual. What they did, the characters, who they picked, the names. I remember that season because I remember watching baseball, and I'm a diehard Yankee fan, so I remember that series, just the whole thing about it. And then Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, Chris Pratt. It's like
You're a Yankees,
it's money.
You're a Yankees fan. He goes to the Red Sox at the end.
No, he doesn't go.
He didn't go.
No.
Was that written on the screen? Because I didn't read the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Okay.
He stayed. He's still
Okay.
there. Billy B.
So
Breaking
I didn't
news.
get the actual end of the movie apparently because I didn't read the
No,
screen.
that's what's so cool. Like he stayed. He thought if he went to Boston, they would have not taken his philosophy because they have a lot of money, and he thought he was great at making a team with little money. Like that was his strength. So that's why he decided to stay, and for his daughter. Good family guy. Brad Pitt, the second greatest actor of all time. Brad Pitt.
Okay, my number 2, Rocky. everyone, you guys kind of hit on it. It's just Rocky 4 is my favorite one, but I'm just going to say the brand of Rocky. I'm going to cheat a little bit, too, just because they're just all so great. Number 1, Olivia liked the best, just because it's more of a love story. And then, of course, boxing at the end. But then I like the second one, how he fights Apollo. And then I love Clubber Lang.
I love 2. It's underrated how great 2 is.
Clubber Lang was in third.
He was in the third one.
Hulk Hogan.
So was Hulk Hogan, brother.
Yeah, it was just the whole movie is just awesome. Yeah, it's unrealistic, of course. I mean, you get jabbed 100 times in the face, you don't pick up your guard. But it's just the fact that he just keeps on going, and it's inspired so many people. I was listening to another podcast, and a Navy SEAL was on it, and he was like, I was inspired by Rocky. He was like, just to keep pushing forward no matter what. It's just like, no matter how unrealistic that movie is, it's still inspiring.
Written by Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And so the latest 2 versions was the Rocky kind of 6. It was Rocky Balboa.
Fifth one was the worst still. But anyway, keep going.
So Rocky 6 and then Creed. Did you guys both like the last 2 new ones?
Yes.
I haven't seen them.
Yes.
Either one. Both were awesome. Like the last Rocky, people didn't like for some reason.
I did.
I liked it a lot.
And
I thought
it had
it was an
an
awesome movie.
Was Rocky Balboa
ending.
with the guy from This Is Us?
Yes,
Yeah.
and with the real fighter Timothy.
Yeah, and the thing
Anthony,
is,
Milo Ventimiglia or whatever.
It has an alternate ending where he wins too.
Oh, I didn't know
There's
that.
2 endings. Yeah,
Spoilers.
where he wins.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers for the alternate ending, brother.
Well, now I know the real ending.
Yeah, but it's awesome. And then did you? And
If he wins in the alternate ending, then he loses in the regular ending.
He should have just told us the alternate ending. Yeah, he wins, man. It's awesome.
And I'm sure you know this. The God, I forget her name, but the woman he's with is the girl. She was in like the very first movie, smoking cigarettes around the corner, and that's her grown up, and that's how he knows her.
Oh, wow.
No, I didn't know that.
Callback.
Are you serious?
No, give it to me again.
Gosh,
So in
what's the
Rocky
name
1?
of- yeah, it's either 1 or
I'll
2,
look it up.
and she's small and she's smoking cigarettes, and he walks her home, and he says, "You got to stop treating yourself like this and smoking cigarettes."
Mm-hmm.
Well, that girl he walks home is the girl that helps him as a grown woman, helps him throughout the 6th movie, not the one with Creed, his last Rocky movie.
Understand?
Rocky Balboa.
Wow.
Yeah, that's her.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Awesome, man. I did not know that.
Are you serious?
around.
That was like the whole point of how he had history with her. He's like, Lil. He used to call her like, I couldn't tell you. Adrian. It was obviously his wife, but God, I couldn't tell you what her name was.
Adrian.
Yeah, but he was like, "Is that you?" And then she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Wow." And it's just really cool.
Great movie.
Obviously, a
The
hardcore Rocky
best
fan.
umbrella of sports movies is Rocky.
Yes.
As a collection, Major League 1, 2.
think
There was
it's
actually a third one too,
I
back to
think-
the minors, but
I think
Rocky.
that's the only. I think that's the only sports series, honestly, to have that many movies. Think about it.
There's 3 Mighty Ducks. There was 3
Yeah,
Major
but
League.
not 7 movies.
But-
if you include Creed,
there would be like to me, Rocky 5 was like a 5 or 6, still good, but just not as. There
yeah.
wasn't a lot of negative. There was Rocky 4 is a 10 or a 9. Rocky 1's an 8 or a 9. Rocky 2's an 8 or 9. Creed is an 8 or 9. I love Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan's the best part of Black Panther. I want to talk to you about this in a later future.
Wait,
I thought he was an awesome villain. Awesome.
Wasn't Rocky 1 like have the most awards?
No,
I don't know.
It won
I
the
don't-
Oscar for
Yeah.
best movie, but it wasn't the most.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
This is it, guys.
Shawnee, the producer,
Oh,
number
yeah,
2,
I'm so
and then we
sorry.
gotta go through the list 10 through 2.
Days of Thunder.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Go, Sean.
There you go.
So you guys talked about Talladega Nights. It's a comedy. It's a spoof. It's whatever. Days of Thunder. Now, as a NASCAR fan, I can nitpick it because there's little things and they rehash things, the scenes and everything. But that is kind of
damn
based on a
close.
true story. They kind of mishmashed a couple different drivers in there, but that hit home for me too because that was just it's Tom Cruise, one of my favorite actors, and just that a lot of it was filmed here in Daytona.
Yeah.
I know it. One of the scenes when he speeds up to the hotel. That's like I think that's the Plaza Hotel. Over
They
there.
raced on the beach and got in so much trouble for driving on the beach like that. And then when they had the meeting with the Bill France character,
Yeah.
it was at the top of Daytona, the restaurant up there
Okay.
at Peck Plaza.
That's awesome.
And so to me, seeing
It's
that.
one of those things that, especially if you live around here, where you go, I know where that is. I know
Yep.
where that is.
Yep.
I know where
Watching,
that
I can see it. And I know, and you can see all these scenes on there. But to me, it was just the story that they did. Like, and again, as a kid, you remember some of those things. Like I remember the cop pulling the fake girl cop pulling him over and saying that he, those sort of things. I remember as a kid, and I remember having to cut when I watched it later as an older kid. Remember when my parents actually cut it when they were racing the sugar packets on her leg. I remember that scene not being quite as long as it was when I watched it when I was older. I think my parents used to stop the movie around that time. But yeah, it was definitely want. It's still. I'll still.
Val Kilmer's the bad guy in it, right?
No.
No?
I know Michael Rooker's in it.
Carrie Elwes
Elwes.
is in it.
That's it.
Carrie
and
Elwes
then-
is phenomenal.
And then what's his face?
Michael Rooker's in it.
Yeah, Michael Rooker. He's Rowdy
he's
Burns.
awesome. I love that guy.
And you know what? They kind of took that whole story and used half of it for Cars 3. if you guys remember, you got kids. Come on,
I know. Cruz Ramirez.
Yeah, no, not
love-
that part, but well, technically, you would say Tom Cruise is Cruise Cruiser. Connection. Got it.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so I think that we're to the point where we're actually going to hit the number one, and then we'll hit our.
Yeah, but go 10 through 2
I'm about to say,
real
10
quick.
through
We're gonna
2 for me.
wrap everyone.
If you
into
want to
it.
even look at that camera, we're going to get you reading 10 through 2, and then we'll drum roll and you go to 1, and then
Okay.
Dave, and then of
Let's
course.
do it Wayne's
Right.
World style. In 5, in 4, in 3.
All right, number 10 for me was Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bloodsport. Number 9, Varsity Blues. Number 8, Happy Gilmore. Number 7, Talladega Nights. Number 6, Moneyball. Number 5, The Sandlot. Number 4, The Mighty Ducks. Number 3, Major League. And number 2 was Remember the Titans.
And number 1,
Rudy, 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 Rudy,
Rudy.
I love that movie. Rudy is a phenomenal. Now, we'll talk about reality here in a second. But, you got Sean Astin playing Rudy. What was it? Rudiger. What was his first name?
Rudy Rudiger.
Was it?
I don't know, I'm gonna
No,
look it up.
Rudiger was his last name.
Yeah.
But in that movie, I love the fact of where he came
No,
from.
it's Daniel Eugene, but they say Rudy Rudiger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that movie, they show where he came from. He came from a steelworking family who that's all they did. None of them went to college. None of them did anything. All they did was watch Notre Dame. And from that, he said, I'm going to play for Notre Dame. And everybody's like, well, you're small. You're nothing.
Sure.
It's like kind of going back to what you're talking about. And I mean,
Connor.
was is a real life story, but and so is this technically. Yeah. So he says he's going to play for Notre Dame, and he doesn't get into Notre Dame, let alone play football in the beginning. And he has to go to another school, do his work there, learn, do his college there before he even gets into Notre Dame. And then he's got to fight his way to even get on the practice squad. Great movie. I think it's Jon Favreau's one of his first movies. And
Underrated Hollywood guy.
love
Yes.
Favreau. First
Yes.
Iron Man's phenomenal. And Swingers, of course.
He was a great MMA fighter.
Jon Favreau.
Friends.
Oh, Friends. That's right. That's
totally
right. He
got
bought
it.
a ring.
Courtney
That's
Cox.
right.
I totally
Didn't
got
he
it.
last like half a second
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that? That's
Who
good
doesn't?
Good reference. But fighting or anyway. But you also have Vince Vaughn in there. He plays kind of a jerk at first, but then he settles in. But I just love the whole story comes together. He finally achieves his life's dream. He plays one down for Notre Dame where he sacks the quarterback. Now, in the movie, they would lead you to believe that it was the most phenomenal thing that's ever happened in the history of the world. Rudy got the tackle. Well, I think they were playing Boston College. I can't be 100% on that. And they were already beating them by like 25 points or something like that when they put him in. So that's why he got put in. And so reality, in the movie you think it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. And that's the point of these movies is even if they are, fictionalized truth,
Totally agree.
they sell you it
Yeah.
and you believe every moment of it until, the internet came out.
It's kind of like the Invincible movie with Mark Wahlberg. Like that whole
yeah.
end scene
Mock
is
Wahlberg.
totally different from what the
Yeah.
movie is. But
Well, in the Rudy thing, like if you can watch it on YouTube, the whole down, like every, it takes like 20 minutes in the movie. And then on the, in reality, it was literally like 4 seconds. It's like, hike, oh, he's down.
Dave, you ready?
Sean has something.
Well, I was going to say one couple things he said was 98% true. The movie, the players didn't actually lay down their jerseys for him. The team captain requested, and actually the coach was actually one of the biggest motivators for him on there. And the groundskeeper, and that's like 3 different people that he kind of played. Yeah,
Where they put them all into one person.
right, exactly.
Awesome.
But that's my number one sports movie, Rudy.
Here we go, Dave.
Great pick, Glenn. Loved it. All right, guys, I go 10 through 2. Talladega Nights. Number 9, Days of Thunder. 8, Happy Gilmore. 7, Field of Dreams. 6, Cinderella Man. 5, Dodgeball. 4, Rocky 4. 3, Major League. 2, Moneyball. And my number 1, I'm 34 years old, and for 31 years of my life, this has been my favorite movie ever until Avengers took it over, Jerry Maguire. Everyone that knows me knows it's my favorite movie ever. I love it. I remember watching it as a kid. All I wanted to do was be a sports agent. I loved it. I love all the behind-the-scenes stuff. They're walking the red carpet. He's a free agent. It's a draft. It's like, I just love the whole thing. I loved it. The romantic comedy, I'm all heart. I just love that. I just love the Jerry Maguire. I love he didn't want to be an agent to 100 people. He wanted to be an agent to 5 and give him more love and time. Just the whole concept of the movie I loved. And like even the end, his Jerry Maguire's like agent or his guy gives him wisdom, and he's like says, if you ain't happy at work or happy with your life, then it's just the whole thing. I'm like, I watch it. I probably have seen the movie, same thing, over 50 times. And it's not like a lot of people haven't seen it 5 times because it's not like a comedy, but I've seen the movie over 50 times. I love it. All-time favorite sports movie, easily, Jerry Maguire.
Okay.
That's high praise. I haven't even seen any Star Wars that many times.
All right, my 10 through 2. We'll start with Cinderella Man as number 10. My number 9, Sandlot. Number 8, Little Giants. Number 7, Longest Yard. Number 6, Notorious with Conor McGregor. Number 5, Coach Carter. 4, Space Jam. 3, Southpaw. 2, Rocky. And number 1, Ali with Will Smith. And the reason why that's my number 1 is because I grew up with just Muhammad Ali as my favorite athlete. Now, of course, I love LeBron James, but Muhammad Ali is my favorite athlete, and just obviously what he stood for outside of the ring, inside of the ring. I do all my research reports on Muhammad Ali, all my papers I need to do, Muhammad Ali, and just Will Smith played him tremendously. It was so cool, the action scenes, and then what they did outside of the ring was awesome, and the way they portrayed him, the way he carried himself, you could really tell he did his research on how he spoke, and I just love the movie.
This is what I loved about tonight. Ali, I love the movie. It's great. It's one of my honorable mentions. Wasn't in Glenn and I's top 10. Rudy, I love the movie. It wasn't in Max and I's top 10. Jerry Maguire was in yours, right? No. So Jerry Maguire, my favorite sports movie ever, was not in Max and Glenn's top 10. Like I loved it. That's what movies are so great. I love movies and music. It's so opinionated. I thought that's the coolest thing. And I love Ali. We can keep on going talking about the movie itself, but our favorite sports movies ever was not in the other 2 persons' top 10. Sean, what's yours number 1?
Okay, so I'll go my 10 to 2. It was Sandlot, Space Jam, Happy Gilmore, Rocky 4, Remember the Titans, Field of Dreams, Jerry Maguire, A League of Their Own, Days of Thunder.
That's a great list.
It is a good list.
And then when Dave pitched this idea to me and we said it, I wrote this. Well, I didn't write it down, but it was written down in my head because it's penned up there, and it is also Rudy. I cry every time he gets on the field. I cry.
Wow.
JT's examining your list.
Sean, that's awesome.
No, that's
it's emotional. It's
exactly just what you just said. You know, it's like everybody has at least one that's on everybody's list.
Yeah.
But and then several that aren't. But that's this list. It was over 50 movies that have, meant so much to us in different ways, and we've, kind of connected in different ways.
Let me throw some honorable mentions, and then 3 of these honorable mentions no one even named. I loved it. But Space Jam on everyone's list, Sandlot, Remember the Titans. But here's 3 movies that no one said, and I thought they would be on people's list. 1, Cool Runnings.
Not even on my honorable.
Hold on. Let's
just say movie.
Let's just say it's not a sport that any of us have done. At least I don't think we have.
That's true. Very true.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhythm. It's bobsled time. Speak for yourself. Okay.
Then 2 other ones. 1, old school, The Natural. One of the greatest end scenes in movie history. Yeah. The boom, 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 but he hits the glass. And then another one, Hoosiers.
One
of the greatest basketball movies ever. Same thing, one of the greatest movies at the end. I'm going to go for it. And they're all mad. One guy misses literally 2 shots in the whole movie. They set a play, the picket fence, and we're going to go to this guy. Everyone's in the thing, and no one's happy. And he looks at the coach. He says like 8 words the whole movie. He goes, Coach, I'll make it. Holy shit, goosebumps. I love it. Love it.
couple honorable mentions. One, Grown Ups, and I'm playing. Everyone just stared at me like,
I was
really,
like,
Max?
We went from Hoosiers to Grown Up. All right.
No,
Age gap.
I actually never watched this movie, but everybody tells me it's the best basketball movie. Love and Basketball.
Oh. I know somebody's favorite movie.
Mike Robinson.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike. It's a good movie.
People love that movie. I never watched it, but everyone always says Love and Basketball.
What about Blue Chips?
No, How about He Got Game? Ray Allen, Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
I love Nick Nolte in that movie.
I thought,
but like growing up, I think I was 14 when that came out. I always thought it was like another promotion piece for Shaq.
Oh, yeah.
Because you had
Shuttleworth.
Fushnikins, you had Pepsi, and then you had that.
Speaking of Ray Allen, Jesus,
all in like the
Shuttleworth.
same summer.
Yeah.
He Got Game. What else?
I also have Warrior, and what I found was
Good
interesting was
movie.
this. So
Real good movie.
my top 3 were all boxing movies, and I'm like, I'm a bigger MMA fan than I am boxing. Why is it that boxing is making such better movies? So obviously, we forgot to tell you this, Glenn. We always do. Our locked-ins is like our bold prediction, and that's what we end our show with, is our locked-ins. So, for example, I'm going to go ahead and tell my locked-in for this because it like kind of correlates with my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I think my locked-in is the more this MMA sport grows, which it is, it's already growing, I think we're going to see better MMA movies.
Oh, of course.
And
I was just going to say that when you said why, boxing's been around. It's the oldest sport. It's been around for over 100 years. MMA's been around for 15 years.
And to go on that and like to kind of further expand on that, my top 2, Ali and Rocky, won't ever change. Like that's my locked in. Like I could see other people changing. Rocky's set in stone just because of the place it has in my heart, and Ali as far as my idol. And just someone I looked up to and just a role model. So those 2 I don't see changing, but the MMA movies I do see changing, and Warrior was awesome.
Great movie.
That's Tom Hardy, right? And just the way they had the brothers fight and the MMA scenes.
You know what my favorite part of that was? When he said, I was born in the darkness. You were simply adopted it.
Wrong movie, but close.
That was pretty good. That was really good.
Anyway.
It just real.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
I've got him. Mine.
Real quick,
were you done with
before
yours?
you go honorable
Yes.
mention? I want to go with what Max said. I don't know if you can lock that in. This is why, and I almost wanted to bring this up. Like what? Because we're sports guys, so like what sports movie, what sport idea or game or player that they make into a movie in the future? Because Rudy's a real life thing. And whatever they make a movie about LeBron James
I was
or
thinking that. I was
Conor
thinking that.
McGregor. Like if you talked about MMA. Give it 20 years and one of the best actors, and they play it out with a great script, and they have like the life of Conor McGregor instead of the real documentary into a movie. That could get into your top 2.
Dave, I feel terrible. LeBron James is my favorite athlete of all time. He has a movie. They wrote it. They have a movie about him. It's when he was a kid, about his AAU team and when he went to St. Mary. When in high school.
Well, that's like a doc. I know it's not.
He had
movie.
he had that doc on there too. I didn't know if we were
It's an
going to do
honorable
docs.
mention. Yeah, but okay, but I see your point as far as LeBron James. I'd be
like
okay.
the 3-1 comeback if they
Yeah.
make that into a movie.
Touche.
Okay.
I'm locked out.
I'm just waiting for the curling movie to come out. I think that will be Matthew McConaughey. He just
All right.
Documentaries count as sports movies, right? So, like, what happened with the wasn't there that athlete who ran track who got tortured and like?
you're talking about Invincible,
or is it Invincible or Don't Break or it was something like that?
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable.
No.
Invincible.
It's
Invincible
Invincible.
was-
Unbreakable's with Samuel L. Jackson. He's like they called me Mr. Glass.
Of course it is.
But
Isn't Invincible
No,
though
Invincible.
God, I hate
Yeah,
Samuel
he was grooming to be Olympic athlete.
Yes.
He went into the service. He got his ship got sank, and then he got attacked by sharks, and then he got POW. I mean, that's a crazy
Everything that could go
story.
wrong went wrong.
Everything, like.
Yeah.
That's also the name of the Vince Papale movie.
So with my runners up, I kind of went to like just the different sports that we didn't mention. Okay. So McFarland, Texas. I don't know. It's a Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Cross country.
Draft day. It's close.
Stick It, gymnastics. I have League of Their Own, but I was just saying that because it was a female cast. Gosh. I had Cool Runnings there for bobsledding.
Yeah.
Eddie the Eagle for a long ski
John
jump.
Candy.
Better Off Dead for skiing.
Oh, I want my
One crazy summer for boat racing. No Holds Barred for wrestling.
Yes.
And I had dodgeball on there too.
Timeout.
Wrestling, the wrestler.
The wrestler, and then you could also say "Ready to Rumble" for.
You can't say that.
I have to say this. Okay,
Black Swan
the Geiger Counter. Download and subscribe. You know your movies.
Yeah,
You know your movies. You were not only did you do a quote to every single movie.
He's amazing.
Talk about the actors and the directors and the storyline. You just mentioned a whole bunch of movies I've never even heard of. And as far as no disrespect, I'm like no disrespect towards the movie, but I'm just saying like Dave, we saw the gymnastics, we made the same face.
Yeah,
like,
I
you
never
know
heard
your
stick it.
movies. Like you clearly know your movies. So guys, check out this podcast.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. And one last. Ferdinand for bullfighting.
I was disappointed in that.
John
But
Cena.
anyway, so my honorable mention, it's kind of, you talked about like theme of it, and you said you didn't put something on there because I found a lot of mine I found were baseball. I could have made a top 10 baseball.
Really?
Oh,
could.
easily.
What
They're all Kevin Costner movies.
I was just about to say that. That's so funny.
Well, to say, like, I had on there a couple ones that we didn't really talk about.
Okay.
Because I had on there Major League, Bull Durham, Moneyball, Mighty Ducks. Those were all on my honorable mention list. 42.
Ooh, that's a great movie.
Jackie Robinson.
Good
Yeah.
one. Gosh.
And that had Chadwick, the Black
Jack
Panther.
McBoseman.
Yes.
Black Panther was Jackie Robinson.
Wow.
Rookie of the Year.
Angels in the outfield.
That's the next one on the list.
I was going to say Rookie of the Year.
Holy
Still
crap.
has the best line of all. Funky butt love.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then I'm blanking on the title of it, but it's the one where he took over as the coach, the manager. It was like the Minnesota Twins. It's like Little Big League.
Little Big
Yes.
League. Yeah.
So
That wasn't that the guy from American Pie? Wasn't that
yes.
like
No, that was Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had Miracle.
Good one.
Oh,
Good one. Good movie.
And then
Mystery Alaska. That's another good one.
Tin Cup.
Tin Cup. Yeah, Kevin Costner.
And then two of them I haven't seen. One of them I've heard a lot about being like a tearjerker type thing. When we talk about Rudy, it was Brian's Song.
Brian's Song. I do know that one. That's about Gale Sayers and who was the other? Brian Piccolo.
Okay.
They were running backs competing for Chicago, and one of them got sick and died.
Right.
What's a movie?
Billy D.
dictionary
Williams. Billy D. Williams is in that movie.
It's called a Glenn.
Lando Calrissian.
He's amazing.
And then
Movie
the
dictionary.
last one I haven't seen, but I've seen a clip from it. And I've seen it on Facebook recently. It's called Facing the Giants. Have you seen that one or heard of that one?
I've seen that one. It's about high school. It's a Christian theme.
Yes, I saw that.
And it's like about them kind of trying to embrace, trying to come together as a team within the context of faith.
The reason why I haven't listened,
high school movie.
I've never seen it, but the reason why I see it is because that clip I've seen on Facebook several times where they're arguing and doing something like not being a team, and one guy's like I can't do it, coach, I can't do it. And so he makes him get one of the big linemen, he makes him get a small guy on his back, and he goes, I need you to just go to the 20, do like a drill so that carry him to the 20-yard line. And he goes, go on, come on, you're almost there. He kept talking to him, and he goes, I can't do it. He goes, you keep going, come on, you're almost there. You keep doing. And he's sitting there just getting in his face, and then he goes, okay, and then he like finally collapses, and he goes, check out where you're at. And he goes, and I just got chills. He goes, you're in the end zone. He made it across the entire field.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
That's
It
awesome.
is a good
That's a good
movie.
scene. That's awesome.
Did you ask? Has he seen that movie? I think this is getting absurd.
It's amazing.
now.
I'm telling you guys.
But yeah, that was, and this
Well,
was,
that just says I waste a lot of time.
You really don't see your kid, do you?
I do. He's
Playing Legos.
somewhere.
but it literally was probably the hardest thing to make this list.
It really-
because, like, I literally eliminated a few because of that. Like some of these baseball movies just went on there because some of it's nostalgia. But some of
Sure.
it is, I'm sure like some of these got on this list because of nostalgia. That they might, if you go back and look at it, it's probably not the best. Like Happy Gilmore's not the best sports movie.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
it's-
said.
No,
It's
no, no,
funny,
no.
and
Right.
it's part of our childhood, teenager
And
years.
same thing with Space Jam. It's not the best
Yeah.
sports movie,
Sure.
but
Back-
it's something that deserves to be on my top 10 because if I think of it, it's what I.
That's back to
We
my
didn't
point.
even say Caddyshack. That's
No, it was on my list.
There's two ways to look
Honorable
at it. Like, is it the best movie or is it your favorite? Is the best to you?
Right,
And like
exactly.
this was us.
Yeah.
And you can't go
And that's
wrong.
how I made my
Yeah,
list.
you can't
know?
go
Nobody said The Replacements.
It was on.
I
my
thought
honorable
about it,
mention.
yeah.
The
I
Last
love that
Boy
movie.
Scout, that doesn't count.
Dave, Glenn, you
The
guys still
Rookie.
got to get locked in.
What is my prediction? I don't really have a sports prediction.
Doesn't have to be. It's about the beginning of
you know
life.
what? Okay, well, I predict that referees will still be horrible.
By the way, locked in.
I'll lock that in. Referees are going to be horrible forever. Because the rules are just not do not benefit the players at all. I'm talking about football.
Let's say it could be about movies. You're locked in.
About movies, I predict the next super major box office movie. I'm going to lock this in: Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Easy.
Wow. Okay.
It's not a surprise either, though.
No, it's not.
It's just insane what they do.
I mean, after The Incredibles cleans up, then
I cannot wait for The Incredibles. Oh my gosh. All right, my locked in is when we do this in 10 years. The locked in when we're on Fox Sports 1. Hopefully, our list, our top 10, I think will be totally different.
Really?
Because
Nope. Not totally.
that's a good statement, because think of it. There are some movies that, even though they'll try, you can't
They have a special place
replicate
in
the
your heart.
magic and the actors and everything.
Rudy's 25 years old and it's still on my top of my list.
Jerry Maguire's been my favorite movie
Right,
since
and
forever.
that's-
I think the top tier, but I think the
Yeah,
6
I
through
got what you're
10
saying. Yeah,
is
yeah.
very
It may
fluctuating.
Okay,
change.
so
I
yeah,
can-
change
yeah,
the
like he was
wording.
talking
I
about-
disagreed with completely.
Yeah. No,
6 through 10 might be different.
yeah, I think 6
Yeah.
through 10, the bottom half will totally change.
Like-
I think movies and like athletes, song, I think movies are getting better and better. I think the first Avengers now is my favorite movie of all time. The superhero movies from 20 years ago to now, like Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. It's a Spider-Man Homecoming. It's just a
Think about it,
Titanic.
hero.
It's a Titanic away.
There you go with another quote.
Blades of Glory.
Oh, it was
I
on
said
my
that it
list.
was-
He said
it was
it,
on
he
my
said it, he
list.
said
Blades of Glory, semi-pro.
What about
and kicking
Fight
and
Club?
screaming.
Do you consider
Gabe.
that
That's back to my point, though, as far as the 1 and 2.
No.
No, it's because it's not actual.
You know what I mean? Like,
game.
the
Yeah.
rest of the list may fluctuate, but the
the
1
Fight
and 2
Club, and it's
just,
only for fighting?
Nobody said Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, great
Nobody
movie.
said. Hold on, let's see.
the 1 and 2 just have a special place in your heart.
Nobody said
Maguire.
like Mike.
Blindside,
Blindside. Yeah.
Radio.
Radio.
We are Marshall.
I Tanya.
We are.
Over the top.
Marshall.
Nobody mentioned arm wrestling. What the heck?
You mentioned it.
Over the top, Dad.
Honorable mention.
So, Dave, you're locked in.
Yes.
Glenn, locked in.
I am locked in about Jurassic
Jurassic
World.
World.
Jurassic World.
Sean, you got it locked in, buddy?
On the spot.
Braves win the NL East.
By the way, Sean Richardson, I wish we had this taped. I told you 6 weeks ago, you were talking about the Braves. You're like, oh, I hate it. I'm like, dude, the Braves are going to be awesome. They're going to be better than what people think, for one. And then I told you those rookies you guys had were the next players up. And you're like,
It's time. Hockey's over.
no, the Braves are legit. I'm telling you.
I don't care about basketball.
Not as good as
especially
the-
with the finals that it is.
Oh,
Not
by
as
the
good
way-
as the Yankees, though. The Yankees are the best.
I
things.
don't watch the hockey. How are the Knights?
They
They're
are
winning the
surprisingly really good. What I love about the Knights is they're an expansion team, right?
They're undefeated and national champions.
So what?
No, they are not. They are not. It's
Anyway,
cut it. Cut the feed.
So what I love about the Knights, and I was talking about this with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
with another friend of mine the other day, is they're an expansion team. So what an expansion team essentially is, it's a lot of castaways off an old team. So these are players who've been around a little bit, or they weren't protected enough on their team. They got together and they just gelled. I saw like a stat comparison of what these players did combined together on their teams before to what they are now. Obviously, they're in different roles where they're at
Sure.
now, but just see what they're doing. It's amazing.
And that's really fast, right? They
First year. First year.
It's the
It
only
reminds me of,
expansion
like,
team ever in the history of sports
do it in
to
first
go
year?
to
To
make the
first year
finals.
to make the finals. It's amazing.
It reminds me, not that fast, but it reminds me like when the Diamondbacks came in, and didn't they beat the Yankees in the World Series? I think.
yeah.
2001.
9/11.
And then the
11.
Marlins, they were pretty fast.
Sean, we have 2 locked-ins, though. So, one is my locked-in was LeBron James was going to make the finals every year until he retires. So, that's still alive. But then the Warriors and Cavs. So,
I was close.
You
Oh
were
my gosh!
very
It's
close.
like,
here's-
it's like Groundhog's Day.
So
Chris Paul played. The Rockets very
Yeah,
well
they
could
could've
have
won
beaten the
that.
Warriors.
and my thing is, I was thinking about this because I was ready for my rebuttal because I'm like, I'm going to run into Max tomorrow. He's going to give me shit for my locked in. They both blew 6 and 7. But here's the thing: you look at when I made my prediction, Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving weren't hurt.
Yeah, you were
And
crazy
Chris
for
Paul,
saying it.
And Chris Paul,
Yeah.
if he would have played Game 6 and Game 7,
Yeah.
It was
you
a
can't
much tougher
stop.
road than I ever thought it would be.
Right? But
You were this
I was
close.
closer
'Cause
than
I'm
you
giving
thought I'd ever be.
I'm giving you credit.
Now
If you
this-
ain't first, you last.
You were locked.
Yeah,
Not in, but you were locked.
Now this is the third
Four.
time
Fourth.
for both teams at the
In
same
a row.
Yeah, at the same
Yeah, it's
time,
never
fourth
happened.
time they're playing.
Oh my gosh!
The greatest
It's like
player.
yeah, but at the
versus
same
the
when
greatest
does
team.
it become the Patriots?
great question.
When does it become that thing where you're just like,
Me 2 years ago.
There's 50%
That's
of
how
like,
exactly
holy
how it
crap,
is.
it's history, it's unbelievable, it's the best team of our generation.
No, I
it's
don't.
the
I
best
don't.
player.
I don't discount
and then
that.
The
I
other
don't discount
50%
that.
is like,
I don't
we're tired of
discount
it.
that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is I don't discount the achievements, and I
Yeah.
don't discount two teams being able to do it over and over and over again. That's phenomenal. That means good coaching, good management, and everything. But what I'm saying is, like you said, for the 98% of the nation, it's kind of like,
It's like, and it's not the best comparison, but it's like the iPhone, because some people don't like the iPhone, but they're always going to come out with a new one. And it's like, okay, here's another iPhone, here's another iPhone. But you do like the iPhone because it's great at what it does. And it's like the Warriors are great at what they do. And yeah, you can get irritated with it because there's other teams, like there's other devices. But the iPhone is still the iPhone.
I actually think that's a great analogy. I
That's a
like
good
it.
analogy.
I like it.
Mine's still
But
2 years old, and I'm not
some-
really
it's
itching to
just-
get a new one.
like I
It
said,
still works.
It's just that thing, though. Some coaches and some management are just way better than
Smarter.
others at picking. I mean, that's why Belichick's the king.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Facebook Live, everyone that was on it. We threw it up on Facebook, and so many people comment on their movies, so hopefully you watch it, comment it. We'll go back and forth. Put your top 10 list on it. Put it on the Locked In community page as well. What's the website? Your
GeigerCast.com, GeigerCast.com. You can find all of our movie podcasts. I know this felt like it was a movie podcast.
It was. I loved it.
And you find news there and, about us and everything. And then, yeah. And I want to thank you guys definitely for having me on the show. That
Thank
was
you for
really
coming.
fun.
You're
Thank you
always
for
welcome.
coming.
Never did a live one before. So I hope I didn't say too much because I find myself editing that out a lot.
You did phenomenal.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Max.
No, Max, it was awesome. Great show. You have anything else to plug? Buy a t-shirt, shop.spreadshirt.com/locked in with 2 N's. Gosh, I'm so good at that now. Shop.spreadshirt.com/locked in with 2 N's. JT?
Don't forget to go to the Patreon page if you want to help support us. Patreon.com/locked in with 2 N's.
Please, wait, throw that out there again. And guys, you can donate a quarter, 50 cents.
$1.
Oh,
$1 is the minimum.
Okay.
But if you want to help support,
Donate $1.
and we're going to come up
Or
with
$5.
some tiers. We got
He's
some-
great with numbers.
I'm a wordsmith.
Patreon.com/locked in.
Thank you, JT.
I'll say this. First of all, thank you to all of our sponsors, to everybody who listens, download and subscribe on Apple Podcast, all podcast platforms, and also the Geiger Counter.
Thank
Here
you
we
very
go,
much.
guys.
I just would say hello to Lindsay. If she's probably asleep now, but that's my other half. You hear her a lot on the podcast. I just want to say hi. Love you.
She's good. And
Be
you
home.
guys, just to give you a compliment, you guys have really good banter. It sounds like
Great chemistry.
great chemistry. It doesn't sound like a husband and wife in a way, in a great way. I'm trying to give a compliment. It's like a,
Well, a lot of times
like
when we
Aniston and
do
Ross from Friends.
whenever we got to close this up, but a lot of times when we do approach the podcast, I just tell her what it's about, and then like we talk about being organic. It's just like I don't know what she's going to say. I'll throw something out there. She responds. It's call and response.
That's
Like
our
the
whole
Blues.
show.
Yeah,
That's our whole show.
I
as you can
swerve.
see.
Yeah.
I thought it was antagonizing.
Shawnee?
Don't forget to where you can call or text us.
Okay.
It's 386-516-0495. You can call, leave voicemails, send us a text message, or send JT a pic. You know how it is.
Anyway,
Keep it clean, guys. And
like
like always, stay locked in.